Welcome back everyone to Bretopia, and here is the wall that I have built to protect us from those furious east winds. And I thought it was all nice and beautiful until I realized something really nasty. This cold area here that I was treating as the main cold area and that as a minor lip of it is actually not the main cold area. This is actually just a small section of cold area that heads out a little bit to the east, and then you see it warms up a little, then it cools down a little, and then it goes in. So it goes in and out of being cold. So this is not quite a full-scale cold area. And that means this is not where the furious winds would be coming from. So no furious east winds, and therefore that wall is completely wrong. It's in the wrong place. I don't know what is there to protect them from, because anything from here that's a danger would be an even worse danger from this end. And so therefore I'm afraid this thing's going to have to go down, because the real bulk of all of the ice and all of the driving cold is from the direction that I wasn't protected, from the south. And this, I think, is where we would actually have it. Since we don't have a spinning world like on Earth, we won't have a bias towards east and west winds, and without such a bias I think it'll be all by heat exchange. And this cold area is extensive. When I was heading out towards the desert, I could see just how extensive it was, and this goes on for at least a kilometer this way. So this is a massive cold area. So therefore the cold winds will be coming out this way, where we have absolutely, positively no protection. Now, what we do have is some distance to where the farming is, so perhaps things will calm down by then. And that explains why we've got the sheep here, because the sheep is in the cooler area. And then this is a good place for sheep. I'm going to need to get some green sheep after all that cactus I brought in earlier. But yes, we've got the cooler area, and this area is going to be a bit warmer due to the presence of the heat vents. And then finally, this is where I am putting the farming at, in the lee of this hill and of there. So therefore I don't think a wall's necessary at all. And we've got that river there. It's going to help to, I was going to say it's going to discourage polar bears, but I forgot. Yeah, polar bears are excellent swimmers. A little river is not going to deter them. I'm going to have to harvest these crops. Then I am going to tear down a wall and decide what we're going to do next. Ah, farewell wall. So now that's gone. I decided to leave this giant oak here. That's probably the best thing for that. I pruned off a couple of the trees here. I might prune off one or two of those in the future, but I'll make that a future thing to decide upon. And so therefore, that is it for the wall that just didn't quite work out. So I will have to use that design for something else, because I think that was a nice wall design, and I've got to use it in some place that's going to stay along a bit longer. But for now, I guess the best thing for us to do is to head over to the house and do a little decoration there. Now let's survey the house to see its current state, then we can decide what we want to change on it. This side I think looks reasonably good. Yes, there could be a window here, but due to the nature of the room there won't be one for thematic reasons. This window here, we've got the bookshelves separating it. And I'm sure he'll have titles that are the least secret inside of there. That side looks okay. That looks a bit barren, so maybe I'll have to add a little something interesting there. Over here, that looks nice. We need to do something about the entryway here. That looks good, I think. Now over here, I think the fireplace is way too large. 3 blocks is way too big. I'm going to have to reduce that. And that's going to be the first thing I'm going to do. But first, let me take a quick sleep, and then we'll be back. Now we need to decide what we're going to do about this. I think 2 would be reasonable. That could at least add a little extra depth. But 3, I think, is just way too... Oh, yeah, there's the dirt right there. All right. Is way too large, but I want to be able to make sure this works, because we've got that little tearing up there. Maybe if I just take out that one line of blocks, that'll work. Let's see what happens if I do this. Just take out this row here. We've got and oh, well, that sort of, yeah. Oh, actually, I don't think there's anything there. For a moment there, I thought the whole thing was going to be nixed by the presence of this thing here. But the only thing I've got there is a torch, and the reason the torches are there is just to prevent mob spawns. So, yeah, I think we can accept that. It does mean bringing in the foundation one also. If we get rid of that, and also one level of that. Good. And take that in. Let's see, the polished andesite. No, we don't want the polished andesite. That's going away. We want the cobble here. Boom, boom, boom. And then we should be able to have our bricks after that. And then be set and have that look much bigger, because otherwise it just looked like it was going way too far out. Good. And I think that, right, does that work? Yeah, I think that is much better. It was just too big before. So therefore, let's get rid of that little pillar there. But I am going to have to get back up there. So I am going to the pillar back up. Alright, break down. Alright, that immediately pops up like that. Now, do I want it to go gradually like that or not? Well, if I'm going to want it to do that, then I think we need a little bit of symmetry on this. So we don't do that on this side. So I am going to need a couple of brick stairs. And actually, how many will I need? 1, 2... I think 3 would be enough. I'll go and see if I have any, and if I don't have any, well, then I'll just make them. I am back with some brick stairs. So let's do a quick pop up here and see how this looks. Alright, nice and symmetrical. Alright, good. Now, hopefully that'll take care of all the issues on the fireplace side. I think that will do. Oops. No, don't join the cattle. Do I have any wheat on me? No, I don't. So, sorry, not feeding time at the moment. So that leaves... What does that leave? Now, actually, what is the state of those books? Oh, that's the problem. We've got books right exactly at that place. So it would be really silly to put one there at all. Ah. Now here, what I was wondering is, we've got interior-wise, we've got a painting there. I was wondering if we could have a couple paintings there, but if we could have a window here. But if this is going to be a crafting room or something of the like, and of course we've got the tunnel going down here. Well, he won't notice that, so maybe. I don't, it just looks like it's missing something, so. Is this where we... Oh, but framing it. Yeah, framing a window here is probably not going to work very well. So how I'm framing all my windows here? Right, because I'm framing them with, okay, there and up there. Ah, okay. So it's the side framing that could be potentially problematic. And it'll... I think it'll work. So let's do it, and I brought some spruce stairs with me, and I brought some spruce planks. So let's get on with it and make ourselves a window here. Now, usually though, we do have this oak border around it. Ah, that's the disadvantage of what I was thinking of there. Now I'm starting to like that idea less. So everybody else, we at least have some oak around the window to distinguish it so that the spruce doesn't completely take over things. So scratch that and go back to what I had before and forget about that little detail there. Alright, and good thing I did on that side, which is the one without the painting, so all back to normal there. What is left then? Oh yes, of course. Still the entryway. That was one of the potential things I was thinking about. I see that this does not, that this is using oak under the window, which is inconsistent with all the rest of the windows. Now, unfortunately, with all that trip to the desert and stuff like that, I don't remember if there was a good reason for doing that, but looking in here, I don't think there is one. So that's what that's where we'll put a little bit of right, let's see, make sure it's not overpowering or anything like that. Just in case that's the reason, and I'm going to have to get up here, aren't I? Alright, let's just stick these two in here and done. And we might as well, while we're up here, take care of these. Now we do have that we've got that we're right at the top end. That's not ideal, but there we go. And that, I think, is... I'm not going to call that perfection, because, yeah, it would have been nice to have a little bit of an oak lip there, but I can't do anything about that. So what we've got left then is what to do about the ground itself. I don't know, just this little path and grass strip here just doesn't cut it. So after I get back awake, we will try to tackle that side. And we are back. And I was thinking that the best thing we could do here is it's just a standard cobble path, something that's not all that unusual. So begin with a basic cobble path here. Yeah, I know we've got this path here, isn't anything special. And then at the home, it turns into a cobble path to go into the house. And I think that'll go then with the foundation stones in there. As for on the side here, I was thinking just a little bit of bone meal here should do the trick. Isn't much for mowing lawns, apparently. And in the back, maybe one or two places where you could throw a little bone meal here. And here. Alright. Nice. I think that's all we need for that. Maybe a couple of torches just to be on the safe side. And good. Banners. That's what's missing. Banners. And now that I have some cactus, let's see, right? Oh, I hope I've got some cactus. I went all the way to that desert, so I better have some cactus somewhere. That's animal, alright. Cactus. Well, I did something with my cactus, and oh, there it is. Whew. So I am going to get around to planting it and starting to get some green dye. And hopefully come up with some banner designs, both for our village down there and for this enchanter's house here. And have something appropriate. But I'll come up with those in our next episode of Piney Plays Minecraft Bretopia.